I don't remember deciding to be a nurse, but I must have. My interest in nursing stems from an interest of anatomy and how the different systems of the body work. It's important to me to know what physiologically is happening to me when I'm sick and understand what it means. There are so many people around me who at one time or another are ill. To be able to learn about helping those who are ill and be instrumental in their getting back to health would be a very fulfilling experience. What the hell did I know? Nurses, stand up. Nurses, stand up. All the nurses, stand up. Our hands went where no hands should go. We smelled things we never should have smelled. We never should have heard, and we felt things that were so hard to feel. And we're in the middle of crisis for people. I never met a patient who wasn't in crisis. Not my patient. I wasn't delivering babies. What a cast of characters. I remember visiting nurses, coming back to the office, and choking on ourselves with the stories that we had. Unfortunately, my family had experienced some of them over dinner. So, Miss Lily Mae, who takes care of you at home? That big black egg motherfucker! Okay. Herbert, you have to stop throwing ensure cans at the nurses.
You know, Bobbie, I had a brain injury years ago and everybody thinks that I'm stupid. But I'm not stupid, and it gets me fucking mad when they come and say, well, Herbert, well, Herbert, you understand? That's why I throw the cans at them.
You know what? Just don't throw the cans at them. Just don't throw the cans at them. John, what's up? You crying?
You know, Bobbie, ever since I lost that one side of my tongue, you know, I'm just not, I can't, you know, I'm a hustler, and I'm out in the street, and I gotta talk my way in and out of all kinds of shit. And now look at me again, I'm missing the side of my tongue. I lost my magic. My whole life. Down the drain, Bobbie.
So, Mrs. Reingold, how are you today?
I'm here.
I can see that. So how are you feeling?
How am I feeling? They should cut me into 1,000,000 pieces and throw me in the garbage. That's how I'm feeling.
Mrs. Reingold, why do they have to cut you into 1,000,000 pieces? She did like this. These are all true, these are all real people. So the AIDS epidemic came, and it was a life, mind, and heart-changing experience. My closest friend, Ruvain, was my massive loss to that epidemic. We were very close. I went to New York whenever he got really, really sick. And they thought that I'm the nurse, I'm supposed to go in and tell him what to do. So they said, go in and tell Ruvain it's okay to let go. So I'm like, fuck me, you know, I know what he's going to say. So I go in and I say, Ruvain, everybody said it's okay for you to let go. And he said, Bobbie, I go to bed at night and I wake up in the morning. What do you want me to do? I had a developmentally delayed gay male patient named Charlie, one of my favorite sunshiny visits in the world. And I go knock on his door, And every time I knocked on the door, he opened it up and he said, "Hi!" And I love visiting Charlie. I don't know if any of you guys remember Jimmy Lee McKeithen. Jimmy Lee McKeithen was a nurse's aide for the AIDS unit. And this is my angel. Every day, we come into work and Jimmy Lee would say, "Hi, honey." And she took care of all of the boys with AIDS. She was one of the oldest survivors of sickle cell. She used to come into work even in crisis because her boys needed her. My life! Did I die? My life! Did I die? This will go on all day long in front of the nurse's station. Finally go up to her and you say, "Mary, you're alive. And when you die, I will say, 'Mary, you died.'" "Thank you, darling." My life. So I had these two women. Neither of them could complete a thought that was as long as a sentence, or a sentence that was one thought. So one is sitting here, and they're two little cuties, and they're sitting next to each other, and they're like, total etiquette, all the personable rules and regulations about how you talk to people was totally intact. Nothing else. Pumpernickel is a very good car in the East Coast. That was my experience when I went to Canada. And so I pulled up a chair, because this was pressure on her. I'm like, "I'm going to be there with you girls really soon." So I'm sitting there, and I'm just, I'm sitting one of the girls, and one of them says to the other one, "You know me better than I know myself." And I'm like, yes! I mean, where do you get these lines? Where do you get these experiences? As you're getting older and you're a nurse, your life is also happening. So a lot of what's going on with your patients, with death and dying and dementia and all this stuff, is happening to you. Case in point. So my father, I'm going to turn Jimmy around for a second. You don't mind, baby. This is my daddy. This is Bobbie Becker. And my dad was a singer, obviously, otherwise it would have been a really weird picture. And my father had, what do you even know? Alzheimer's, multi-infarct, dementia, go for it. It was just, whatever it was all there. And I used to go visit him at the Jewish home all the time. And one time I walked in, I said, "Hi, Dad." And I could see, he doesn't know who the fuck I am. Not an idea. So I said to him, "Dad, do you know who I am?" So he says, "Well, if you're saying Dad, you must be my daughter." I said, "Good, bonus question, which one?" I said, "Well, you can be sure I don't know." I said, "If someone asks you which daughter, you say the beautiful one." "Oh, that's a good idea." I happen to know that my dad is not in a good place. My dad died 14 years ago. And I happen to have gotten a message from whoever you care to think I got a message from. And my father's spirit is very low. And my father is full of regret, full of self-doubt, and full of self-loathing. So I figure if we can clap for Tinkerbell, we can clap for Bob. gonna get his feelings hurt. So back to Jimmy. Jimmy Lee became my patient. She had 4 children, and you know, this woman had taken care of people when there was no reason for them to feel dignified. And Jimmy Lee managed to love them unconditionally. And here she is in a bed in my fucking place. And I'm like, you know what? This lady is gonna get everything she needs. She went home with hospice. Ugh. She went home with hospice, and I went over a couple of times to make sure that things were going well. And the living room was always full of family, and they would one at a time go up to her and kind of say, you know, whisper and hold her hand. She was pretty out of it by then. And whenever she had to be changed, a whole group of women would form a curtain around her bed, and they would change her diaper and do whatever they needed to do, and then step back, and it would go on. I went to her funeral, and her son Greg, not you, her son Greg sang, I sing because I'm happy. I sing because I'm free. His eye is on the sparrow. I know he watches me. His eye is on the sparrow. I know he watches me.